Hello everyone. Today I'll be talking about Kazakhstan during 1920 to 1930. Let's begin. After the Civil War, the economy of Kazakh territory was in a catastrophic situation. In 1918 to 1920, the military administrative methods of economic management dominated. The whole life of the republic was militarized. The government made it mandatory for the farmers to surrender extraordinary tax of £110 million of wheat in August 1920 to June 1921, of which 35 were supposed to be collected from northern Kazakhstan. However, not only the surplus was seized, but also the grain necessary for the supply and even seed fund. The result of this campaign was a predatory hunger that hit many parts of Kazakhstan in 1920 to 1922. More than 2,003,000 people were starving and about 1 million people died of starvation and disease. The western and southwestern regions of the country were particularly affected, where the yield was very low in several years. All this led to spontaneous peasant uprisings against the economic policy of the Soviet power. The government, being concerned with the scale of the peasant unrest in the country, went to a certain liberalization of the economy in March 21. Manufacturers were given the right to sell the surplus in the market, which led to some stabilization of agriculture. The crop area started to grow, reaching 3 million in 1925. Gross grain harvest significantly increased, the number of livestock almost doubled compared to 1922. Another important thing in understanding this issue was the fact that government realized that acquiring theoretical notions of socialism was essential for keeping the peace. It was believed that after the victory of socialist revolution commodity, money relations would be not used, that a system of direct distribution and exchange would be operated. However, it had not worked yet. New economic policy is nothing but a newly introduced market relations. New economic relations were active in the industry as well. Companies were divided into several groups, government which were released to cooperatives, private traders, foreign capitalists, and those to liquidation. In Kazakhstan, there were also cases of denationalization of enterprises. Market relations also developed in trade. Numerous private shops, canteens, bakeries, tea and drinking establishments were opened in the early years of NEP. The apparent crisis of the industry throughout the USSR in the first half of the 20th century led to the realization of the need to accelerate industrial development. However, in Moscow, controversy about the ways and methods of implementation sparked. The chairman of the All-Union Council of the National Economy, Felix Dzerzhinsky, proposed to develop primarily light industry to get quick income and provide the peasants with consumer goods. In December 1925, at the 14th Congress of the CPSU, it was decided that country would be heading to accelerated industrialization. Without the creation of heavy industry, and it was impossible to build a socialist society to provide its technical and economic independence. Accordingly, the development of the industry was planned with an uncertain future for agriculture and farmers. In economy of Kazakhstan, the industry became a prevailing branch. In 1939, her share will have made 58.9%. A number of settlements has turned into the cities. If in 1926, in Kazakhstan there were 44 cities and the urban type settlement, then in 1939 there were 81. The share of urban population has increased from 8.2 to 27.7%. At the same time, industrialization had negative consequences. It is transformation of republic from agrarian in industrial. It is a height of cities and townspeople. It is a height of national working class. It is a creation of technical intelligentsia engineers. In Kazakhstan, industrialization faced a number of difficulties arising from the socio-economic backwardness. The essential problem was the lack of resource and time, the shortage of skilled workers, materials, and equipment. In Kazakhstan, industrialization was carried out mainly in heavy industry and extractive industries. Saving fund was dramatically increased. Thank you for listening.